Hey guys, what is up? Today we will be talking about aliens with Mrmojo and Friends. We have audio evidence and video evidence that they actually do exist and they are real. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have a clip brought to you in part by Be Amazed. So Be Amazed went ahead, and that's what we're listening to right now. We will be talking about it. We'll be pausing the video, talking, pausing, talking. It's going to be very interesting, but definitely it's called Be Amazed on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to them. We will be talking about aliens exist. We have evidence that proves it, that they exist. And we are going to show you audio and video that proves aliens exist. And right now, I am with Miss Krista, and we are also with Mr. Nai. He is actually busy right now. He will be back later on in the broadcast. But I hope you guys stick around, because this is going to be very interesting and hopefully educational as well. Also, welcome to my new channel. I just purchased it, and I hope you guys enjoy the channel. And if you guys could save it somehow on the TV, I don't know if you guys can. I'm not sure how it works on Roku. But we are streaming live on Roku TV right now. So this is like one of my first episodes that we're doing live. We're going to try to do this talk radio type hosting for a little bit. We're just going to see how popular it gets, if it's popular at all, if you guys like us. Stuff like that. Also, if you guys would like to join the Discord, you guys are more than welcome to. If you guys do go ahead and join, don't go into the live. You guys could. I'll just kick you out. But don't go into the live streaming section. There's another one right above it that you guys can go ahead and go to. The code is actually going to be active for only 7 days. So if you guys are one of the lucky few and you guys want to go ahead and join Discord with us, just click that link. Not click it, but type it down. It's QFMMYHYT. That's QF, capital M, capital M, YH, capital Y, capital T on Discord. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. Let me change it so you can see Krista. Krista right now doesn't have her webcam on, but Krista's right here. And then we also got Nine. He's my good friend. And then we also have Be Amazed right up here. We're going to go ahead and listen to that right now. Let me go ahead and click play real quick. Let me find it. Okay. Krista, do you want to say anything before we go ahead and... Do you want to introduce yourself, or...
What would you like me to say?
You can say whatever you want.
Um, I'm really happy to be here with you, Joe.
Oh, yeah,
We've been good
anytime.
friends for a long time,
Yeah.
and I think this is going to be a pretty amazing experience, being able to talk about things that interest, everybody,
Yeah.
and have real discussions about it.
Well, I don't know how good of a discussion I'll be able to respond back, but I'll do the best I can. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words, Krista. Miss Krista. I got to remember saying that, guys. Miss Krista. I always call her Krista, but she wants to be called Miss Krista, so I'll do the best I can to say that. So, all right,
Well,
let's
thank
go.
you, Mr. Mojo.
You're welcome. All right, Krista, let's go ahead and listen in to what he goes ahead and says. The reason why I say that we have evidence that aliens exist is because in the court of law, you cannot lie. Once you are in a court of law, you are handed something. I think they give you a Bible, and you have to put your hand on a Bible. I don't know if they still do that, but
Yes, you have to put your right hand. I don't know, but you have to swear that you're
yeah,
going to
you have
tell
to
the truth. And
swear
if you
that
do not tell the truth,
you have to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. So basically, you have to tell the truth. If they find out that you were lying on it, it's a big offense. You can actually go to federal prison. So you have to tell the truth. And so this is why this is evidence, is because what he says. We're going to play it about 4 or 5 times in case you guys don't understand what he's saying. We'll stop it and explain it. But here it is. Let's go ahead and and listen what he has to say. So,
What you're about to see is a former U.S. intelligence official in July 2023 testifying under oath regarding the U.S. government's interaction with unidentified extraterrestrial aircraft and their unusual pilots.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
No, your ears aren't deceiving you. United States Air Force officer and intelligence official David Grush, among other government officials, is genuinely claiming that we are not alone in the universe, and that, in fact, the U.S. government has been keeping the world in the dark about some truly crazy findings for years.
all right, Krista. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about what that gentleman just pretty said?
He literally just told us that yes, we have UFOs that have crashed. Yes, that there were aliens, non-humans.
We don't.
And
It's possible. It's possible that those beings inside they may not be aliens. They may be interdimensional beings, but they were not human, and that's what the lady asked, and he said,
that's
yeah,
exactly what he said.
We have non-human entities in these crafts, and so we don't know if they're aliens. We don't know if they're interdimensional beings. Most people, I've talked to someone else that actually worked in the Navy, and he actually said that they're interdimensional beings. They're not aliens, they're interdimensional beings. And so I think that instead of them being aliens, it's possible that they're interdimensional beings and they are from our planet, but just in other dimensions. That's what I think, but it is possible that they are extraterrestrials and they're from another planet. But I believe that they're from this planet, but just in a different dimension. What are your thoughts about that, Krista? Like, what are your beliefs about the extraterrestrials that he went ahead and talked about?
So my beliefs are, as I believe that they've been here just as long as the humankind have been here. There's too much evidence if you watch different things on not just one platform, but in every platform. There's just too much evidence to not believe that they have been here for a lot longer than probably even before we were here. That is my belief.
Yeah, they've definitely been around since Egyptian times, because there's some hieroglyphs and stuff that show saucer-shaped objects in the sky in their paintings and in their artwork. So that right there is we don't know what paintings. In Renaissance paintings, but in also cave art they found some pictures. In hieroglyphs they've found some pictures. They've also found pictures that look like helicopters and stuff in the ancient Egypt hieroglyphs and stuff. So it's pretty interesting.
So I do know this, is that when my mom was born, they still did not know the Earth was blue.
Well,
and I'm going to have to do a little bit more investigating.
There was this
because
there was this older 100-year-old lady. I forgot where she was from, but she was from the United States, and she said that she was taught in schools that the Earth was flat back in the hundreds, but 100 years ago, that she was being taught in elementary school that the Earth was flat. Can you believe that?
Yes. Yeah, there's people out there that we know personally, Joe, that believe the world is flat
Oh
still.
yeah, we're talking about Junior. Yeah, yeah. Junior believes the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
But did you know that in the dictionaries back in the 1950s, it actually describes the dome, and the dome is like 32,000 feet up, and it gives the latitude and longitude of the dome. So unless that encyclopedia is lying, I don't know. Junior might have a case. We'll have to maybe bring him on one of these days. Maybe he'll
Yeah,
and we'll talk about we can talk about flat Earth and
yeah,
stuff.
he can try to convince me. Yeah, he can try to convince me that there's flat Earth, but I will never buy that the Earth is flat.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
would you like to go ahead and listen more to this video to see what he has to say, or what would you like to do,
Oh,
Krista?
definitely, because I would love to, because there's more interesting facts in this video,
All right.
not
Well,
just the congressman,
all right. Well, let's listen to this
you know,
video a
or
little longer
the
and see.
hearing, not the congressman, but the hearing,
All right. Well, let's
the
listen
Congress
in
hearing, I
and
should
see
say.
what this awesome video. You guys, we are listening to Be Amazed on YouTube, so make sure you guys stop what you're doing and go ahead and subscribe to them. It's Be Amazed, BE space AMAZED. Go ahead and subscribe to their channel. Support them because we are using their uh, uh, we're using their video, and so that's the least that you guys can do. So, and we're pausing and we're talking about it to basically our thoughts about what he's talking about. So, all right, let's listen in and see what else is going to happen in this video.
Extraterrestrials really been visiting and even spying on us for decades? Today, we'll be attempting to get to the bottom of that question. From mysterious snapshots of unexplainable flying objects to official government reports and a possible interview with an alien being, here's some of the best evidence we have proving aliens exist. This first story has been corroborated by multiple highly reliable military personnel, and is probably the most striking proof of alien life, or technology, visiting Earth. And that's why I'm going to explain it first and in depth. We even have the footage to prove it. It goes like this. A naval strike group, led by the U.S. aircraft carrier the USS Nimitz, was conducting pre-deployment exercises off the northwest coast of Mexico in late 2004. On the 10th of November, the USS Princeton picked up unusual radar signals near San Clemente Island. These signals didn't appear as any known aircraft and would randomly appear in groups of 5 to 10 at a time. The senior operator of the radar system had almost 2 decades of experience working with these systems and was an expert with this scientific system at the time of the incident, so he was puzzled as to what was going on. Suspecting a malfunction, the recently upgraded Spy-1 radar was switched off and recalibrated. To everyone's surprise, this only led the radar tracks to become even stronger. They observed firsthand how the targets performed physics-defying feats. For example, the objects moved too fast to be birds, too slow to be conventional aircraft, and in some cases, descended from space to sea level in seconds. Imagine dropping in altitude from over 20,000 meters in mere seconds. Now that's turbulence. Then the objects would hang around for hours. These observations were witnessed for multiple days. Each time they occurred, the crew would view these tiny specks moving irregularly in the distance through their high-powered binoculars on board. Then, on the morning of November the 14th, something extraordinary unfolded.
Oh, nice.
This game.
Well, while
You're
that's
not ready
going
for
on,
it.
let's well, I guess we can watch this Eve Online, guys. Check it out. it's an okay game. While we watch this ad,
I love it.
while we watch this
We
ad,
can discuss.
so
So did you understand that? Because I totally understood what they were saying.
Yeah, they basically said that they saw objects that were in formation of like 10 to 5, and they thought it was a glitch, and so they recalibrated their systems, and then their surprise, they were still there. And not only were they there, they were moving in ways that defied logic. They would all of a sudden appear down at sea level and then all of a sudden appear way out in space in seconds. And that's what I got from it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and they actually uh, observed them in the sky
oh, I didn't hear
with
that
their
part.
binoculars. So when it started beeping, yeah, that's what they were saying with their powered binoculars. They were looking in that direction and they could see um, specks of light coming off of the things
Hmm.
in the sky,
Interesting.
the crafts in the sky.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. I think
Well, it just proves that
but I've always believed,
extraterrestrials
see,
are.
the thing is I've always
Dem-
believed in extraterrestrials.
yeah, well,
I had a mom that, highly believes in it. And
I told you that the
so,
story of when I actually got possibly not abducted but visited by extraterrestrial beings or dimensional beings in my room when I was 13 or 12. You remember? I already told you that.
yeah,
When they came at the bottom of
yes.
my bed, basically I was like 13 sleeping in my parents' bed. It's late at night, no one's home. I noticed it felt like a cat was rubbing up against my leg. I look up and it was these long, short little guys with long, spindly arms reaching out. The arms were like really tiny. I'm talking the same size as a broom handle, reaching out, and they were long, like 5 feet, but those little guys were like only 3 feet tall. I could just barely see their eyes. And they're all I really noticed, because I don't know if I saw their heads, I just remember their eyes, because at the time it was happening, I was paralyzed. I couldn't move because of fright. I was paralyzed and I couldn't move, and they were ripping off my blanket, and when I came to, I screamed no, and they were gone. But for all I know, they took me and put me back in my bed and wiped my memory, so I don't remember. But anyways, I just remember them slowly pulling my blanket off of me, and it basically, they tore the whole blanket off, and then I came to and was able to move again, and I woke up and the blanket was on me, and I kicked the blankets off and screamed no, and I was freaking out and crying, and went to the telephone and called my parents or something. But I kind of just, excuse me, I kind of just rolled it off and was just like, okay, nothing happened, like it was just a dream. And I'm not sure if it was a dream or real, but all I know is what I told you is I had an experience when I was either 10, I don't remember the age, it was like 10, 11, 12, 9, 8, 7, somewhere in that time frame, 7 to
You
12
were,
years
yeah,
old.
you were young. You were
Yeah.
just young. You were a young child. So,
Yeah, so that was my story. All
yeah.
right.
Have you ever thought that maybe, have you ever thought that maybe, because I've heard that once they start visiting a
They come
person,
back over and over
they,
again.
they,
See, well,
yeah.
yeah, well,
And
that happened, but actually years later, on my stomach, I had like a mole, and I don't know what got me to do this, but I started squeezing it like a zit, but it was a mole, but I just started squeezing it, and an object actually came out, and it was really hard, like glass, and it came out, and I remember putting it in a Ziploc bag because I was like, holy crap, this is probably like an alien tracking device that I just squoze out of my body. And I lost it. I lost that plastic sack with the little tiny object that I squoze out of my belly. And ever since then, I haven't really experienced any type of extraterrestrial encounters. I haven't been like, because like when they would come, or when I would think that they would be around, my whole body would, like, I could just sense that they were there outside, and they were there staring at me, and they were there just like right out my window, and I was always too afraid to look, but I just knew that they were out there. And but after I took out that little device, squirrels that zit, and on my belly, all of that just disappeared. And so I think I took out the tracking that they put inside me to do exactly what you were telling about, like how they come back over generations and generations to track you, to see
You
how
know,
you're
there's
doing.
an episode. There's an episode of Ancient Aliens that actually talks about tracking devices that they have found in people,
No, I know about
like
that.
objects that they.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was weird,
Yeah,
but I
so
squeezed
I wouldn't
something
be
out.
surprised.
I squeezed something out of my belly that I thought was a
I wish
mole.
you wouldn't have lost that.
Well, I wish I would have too, but all it looked like was a piece of glass. And I was like, there's
Yeah, but
no,
we
it
could have
wasn't.
went and got it like tested, dude.
Well, I was probably 16, 17 years old. I knew it was
Yeah,
I
I mean
knew it
it's
was
years now,
I
but
knew it was valuable, and that's why I put it inside a plastic bag, but I put it in my drawer, and I was able to find that plastic bag, but the object was no longer inside the plastic bag. It was gone.
ew, that's interesting right there. It disappeared.
Yeah, it
The object
completely.
just up and disappeared.
Yeah. So, I actually completely forgot about that.
That's crazy, Joe. But
I
I totally believe that.
Yeah, well, I actually completely forgot about that, me squeezing out that object. But when I was telling the story again, a memory popped into my mind, and so I thought I might as well include that as well, because it makes sense why they quit visiting me. And I'm very disappointed I removed that object because I didn't at the time. I really did mind the abductions, but now that I'm older, I would love to be abducted again and hopefully and talk to them and all this stuff. Like I would want to know more. But when I was young,
And say,
it was
hey,
really scary.
don't erase my memory. Talk to me. I'll give you any information you want. Just
Yeah,
don't erase my memory.
yeah. But I think the government went ahead and made a long time ago a pact with the aliens saying that yeah, you can go ahead and abduct people, but put them back, and you have to erase their memory so they can't remember. I think that was one of the agreements that
Oh yeah,
we
they
gave
they signed. Yeah, they
that they
signed a
signed.
treaty.
Yeah, they signed a
Wouldn't it
treaty. So,
wouldn't it be interesting to think that the movie Men in Black that we all think is a comedy and funny and love it,
mhm.
but what if that it was like on a serious note actually, and we just don't know that it exists? And that I believe that there could be
Well,
multi different types
for
of
all we
aliens for
know,
all we know.
disclosure is coming up here pretty soon because like it's taken hundreds and hundreds, not hundreds and hundreds of years, but hundreds of years, not hundreds, 100 years for disclosure to come out, and it's still not even 100 years because this is back in the 1950s when Roswell, or 1940. We're not 100 years yet. We'll be 100 years in about maybe like 20 more years or 15 more years. So maybe after 100 years they'll go ahead and reveal themselves. But at the time we weren't ready.
I
But
think it's I think it's actually that they have to reveal like um declassify it by 70 when it reaches 75 years.
oh, I
I
always
think
thought it
it's
was 100.
75 years.
Well, if that's the case, then it's really close.
Yeah.
Really close.
Yeah, it is. I know that I heard something about the Kennedy assassination that it's getting super close to it.
Well, excuse me. The Kennedy's assassination, that's really interesting because I think the reason why he got assassinated was because he was going to come out and say that the extraterrestrials were real, and the higher ups didn't want that, and so he got assassinated because of it. Have you heard that?
Oh, I think that there's many reasons. Yeah, I've heard many speculations on why, and I think that in always one story there lies some truth.
Yeah.
Like there's two perspectives, and somewhere in there lies the truth in the middle. And so I think that there's just too much with UFOs coming out now that they just can't deny it. And we're in a digital age now to where our electronic ability is a highly progressing. And so people are seeing things with their own eyes. And so you just can't deny and deny anymore. You're going to have full disclosure of some kind.
Well,
Because I think a lot of people's eyes are starting to wake up.
well, that's why we're having this little confirmation, is to prove that aliens do exist, and we just that one clip right there is proof that aliens exist right there. That
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
because that guy
the
cannot.
Senate hearing right there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that tells me you don't lie in a hearing. You can't. And if you do, then you go to jail. Point blank. That's all the proof I needed right there. But all the other proof that just stacks upon it on itself. I mean, I remember back when there weren't cell phones around. And so people would say what they saw, but no one would believe them. But now they either have,
Well,
pictures.
they just hush it, hush, hush. Like they shove it under the rug, and it drives me crazy. I hate it when they do that. They say that you're paranoid schizophrenia. Like, that's what happened with me. Like, I all of a sudden now they say that they're mental, or they have some type of disability, and maybe they're actually just telling the truth. That's how they silence you.
Yeah, and
that's how they discredit you.
Yeah, that's exactly how they do.
Yeah, and that's what happened to me. I got diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and I believe that.
But see, we're just normal, everyday working Americans, and I can tell you, the majority of people I talk to, and I talk to a whole bunch of different types of people, that all believe the same thing. We're not dumb. We know that they're hiding it from us. We're working class citizens that they, just tend not to listen to.
Well, it makes me upset because I'm a taxpayer dollar, and I'm sure everyone here right now is a taxpayer dollar. And wouldn't you want to know the truth? Like, why the hell are you guys lying? Oh, it's national security. Bull crap. Whatever, just tell us. I'm paying you to basically represent me.
And I feel like the American people now, I mean, it's been coming for, more of the generations. Like, I raised my kids into knowing that
maybe
you can't expect.
Maybe back then, it wasn't like no one would believe you, and it would probably freak out a lot of people. But now, like, with all the movies that have came out over the century about aliens and stuff, I feel like
I just can't believe in the huge universe we have.
I feel like they've just been preparing.
There's not another. Yeah. See, and my thing is that there is a huge universe out there. We're one small little speck of this universe. And if we think that we're the only planet
unless
that
Junior's
holds
right,
intelligent life, we are dead wrong.
Unless Junior's right.
We are not special in that sense.
Unless Junior's right and the Earth is flat and there's a dome above us, which would make sense that if there's that they would call them interdimensional beings, because we're basically stuck here on this Earth. If that's the case, we'd be stuck here on this Earth. There would be no space, and these beings that were coming were popping in and out of our dimension are just basically in the same situation but in other dimensions. But even then, I mean, if they have the technology to go into other dimensions, I mean, that would be pretty freaking cool for us to go ahead and explore and meet. I would like to go ahead and meet the other aliens and meet their civilization and stuff. That
doesn't mean there could be other dimensions, but it doesn't have to mean that the Earth is flat, because the Earth is not flat.
Well, no, I was just saying.
But there could be other dimensions.
We would be trapped here on planet Earth if it was, and that would make sense that they would be interdimensional beings rather than extraterrestrials. That's all I was saying, is that it's possible that they're not extraterrestrials. They're just interdimensional beings at a different time or a different dimension on the same planet. Or flat Earth.
Now that all could be possible and still be round.
And it could be possible.
That still all could be possible and round.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's see what else. How about we listen in to see what else he has to say?
Sorry, I will never believe in.
Oh, no, you're fine. All right, let's go ahead and listen in.
41 took off from the aircraft carrier on a regular training operation when suddenly these mysterious radar tracks were spotted again. Lieutenant Douglas Kurth was instructed to investigate the unknown target approaching from the south. As he made his way to the coordinates, he saw a large disturbance in the water and claims to have seen something submerged just below the surface. He said it reminded him of a submarine or ship below the surface of the ocean. The strike group of ships did include the USS Louisville, a nuclear submarine, and it was in the vicinity, so it could have been the reason for the turbulence in the water, but what was witnessed later makes that idea seem implausible. You see, Kurth was joined by 2 other fighter jets, both containing 2 people each, the lead of which was piloted by Commander David Fravor. Fravor also claimed to have seen the disturbance on the ocean and described it as much larger than a submarine. As Kurth made his way back to the Nimitz, Commander Fravor and his wingman decided to take a closer look. Now, I'm going to show you the clip of Commander Fravor explaining this encounter in his own words in front of Congress, animating the story as he goes.
We arrived at the location at...
All right, guys, so just a little reminder, in Congress, what that means is that he cannot lie when he says this. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say.
approximately 20,000 feet in the controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip was now in the same resolution cell as the contact. As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no whitecaps from waves. So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean. All 4 of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down a small, saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping-pong ball. There were no rotors, no rotor wash, or any sign of visible control surfaces like wings. As we started clockwise towards the object, my Wizzo and I decided to go down and take a closer look with the other aircraft staying in high cover to observe both us and the tic-tac. We proceeded around the circle about 90 degrees from the start of our descent, and the object suddenly shifted its longitudinal axis, aligned it with my aircraft, and began to climb. We continued down another 270 degrees, nose low, where the tic-tac, or we considered 270 degrees to where, and we went nose low to where the tic-tac would have been. Our altitude at this point was about 15,000 feet, and the tic-tac was about 12,000. As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared. Our wingmen, roughly 8,000 feet above us, lost contact also. We immediately turned back to see where the whitewater was at, and it was gone also. So as we started to turn back towards the east, the controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cat point, roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute. You can calculate the speed." We returned to Nimitz. We were taking off our gear. We were talking to one of my crews that was getting ready to launch. We mentioned it to them, and they went out and luckily got the video that you see, that 90-second video.
As Commander Fravor's group returned to the aircraft carrier, he briefed the next flight crew that was departing and told them to be on the lookout. The crew heading out was equipped with an advanced targeting, forward-looking infrared camera system, which was controlled by the weapons system operator seated behind the pilot, who was Chad Underwood. Can we just appreciate that name for a second? Chad Underwood, the frat boy to rule all frat boys. Anyway, minutes after departing, Underwood locked onto something on his radar a few tens of kilometers away. Underwood said,
"The part that drew our attention was how the object wasn't behaving within the normal laws of physics."
Now, let's watch the video which supposedly recorded the craft. As you can see, the black and white version of the video is in infrared, and Underwood changes to visible light, revealing the blurry oval object in the distance. He then changes back to infrared and toggles his zoom numerous times. Suddenly, the UFO disappears off the side of the screen.
All right, here's another free-to-play World of Warships. I've played it. It's pretty fun. But let's skip that
So,
one.
what do
Hang
you
on.
think about so far?
I mean, I've always seen the videos and stuff, but actually, Be Amazed is actually explaining it a lot better, so I can understand. Before it was just like, oh yeah, they saw a TikTok. That's freaking nothing. They have other videos and stuff that they should release, not this. But
I really love the Be Amazed channel. I just absolutely love their channel. I watch them all of the time
oh, nice.
because all of their content is really interesting.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, and you can't fight facts, and I do like how they explain things, and
Mhm.
that's why I watch them.
Yeah, I
That,
actually don't.
that you know,
I don't really watch a lot of stuff. I just listen to techno music, do my job, and come home, live stream, watch Netflix. I mean, that's my routine when I get home. So,
yeah.
excuse
But
me.
see, now you're opening your horizons because now you're finding Be Amazed. Now
Oh,
you're gonna start watching
I don't even. To be
the
honest,
channel.
I don't even think I'm subscribed to them. Oh yeah, I am subscribed to them. Okay, never mind. I am subscribed.
Yeah,
All right, let's listen in and see what
it's a
else they have to
well-known
say.
channel. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Target was too far away to be seen with the naked eye, and Underwood nor his pilot made visual contact. Following their encounter, the Naval Strike Group continued detecting anomalous radar tracks for at least 2 more days. Skeptics have tried to explain the footage as being an airplane of some sort, but airplanes can't zip around the sky as if gravity is non-existent. And whilst the witness accounts are so extraordinary that you may assume they're made up, consider that dozens of high-ranking and highly reliable military personnel have corroborated the stories.
Yeah, they're not going to
Commander
lie
Fravor,
in
along
oath.
with other witnesses, also claimed they saw an extended version of the video that was in a higher resolution, but it has never been released. All footage from the events were supposedly erased the evening of the day they were recorded. Numerous witnesses on both ships in the strike group also claim they saw 2 men arrive by helicopter who collected the relevant data before wiping all the tapes and hard drives clean. The witnesses said they never saw anything like it before. Potentially, this could be evidence of a cover-up of some kind. Maybe the government is aware of the existence of alien life or technology, but they don't want all of us aware of them for one reason or another. Maybe the government assumes there would be a mass hysteria they would like to avoid, or maybe they're just keeping it a secret so our adversaries are kept in the dark. It could also be the case that these sightings are just of top-secret military technology, like drones or aircraft that the government is taking active steps towards keeping under covers. We know they are developing incredible tech, but still, surely gravity-defying Tic Tacs are a step too far. We can only wonder what the flight crews saw that day, but my mind does wonder. All we know is that Commander Fravor estimated the craft to be roughly 12 to 15 meters long and looked like a Tic Tac. Were the Tic Tacs opaque, looking somewhat like the typical UFOs we're used to? Or did the Tic Tacs have cockpits with alien pilots controlling the craft, only zooming off after their operation was foiled? Unfortunately, we will never know. But what we do know is that this wasn't an isolated incident.
Okay, well, that is fairly interesting. Yeah, the thing that I don't like though is
Maybe it is.
when BMA said, "Oh, well, it could possibly be our technology," and I really doubt that, because like what we saw in the first of the video of our conversation was when that I forgot his name. What was his
David
name?
Gush.
Yeah, David Gush. What he said to Congress, that basically they recovered non-existent biological. They weren't humans basically, and they discovered bodies. And so that, no, like knowing that, and then him trying to say that it's us is kind of ridiculous because we don't have the technology to do that. And if we do have the technology, I don't think we are able to be inside the craft because we probably don't have the technology. Because if you were moving that fast, you would have to create a force field around your craft to make it so that there's no G's. I don't think we've came up with that technology yet. Maybe we have, but yeah. So yeah. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, and if it, so what you just said about, and if we had, the thing is that we would have had to, so I do know this is that you can reverse engineer. So just like with the Roswell, the crafts that, crash landed there. We can reverse engineer that technology and figure out how that technology works. And now if you look at how our technology has grown over, a short amount of time, how did we get all of a sudden so intelligent to come up with this in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, like fiber optics and stuff was what they found on the crash, and now we have fiber optics, so they were able to they were able to back engineer, or whatever you said before. I forgot the name of it, but we were able to re-engineer that. My dad, I remember my dad telling me that all the time, that we actually got fiber optics from the Roswell crash. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. We were able to back engineer stuff, but the aliens actually have a technology that's really interesting, and they don't actually build their own crafts. What they do is they basically have a big platform. Okay, you guys with me now? So they have a big platform, and on the platform it's just a platform, and then they have a device, and they can go ahead and be like, okay, I want a ship build, and then they hit this device, and it generates it manifests a ship. And the reason why they're able to do that, so they don't physically build things anymore because they're so advanced. They actually figured out a way to from the molecular level. I think that's what it's called, molecular level.
Molecular level.
Yeah, they are able to basically use the atoms and rearrange the atoms using science. They're able to basically map out. So it's kind of like a DNA, but instead of it being a DNA, it's a ship's DNA. And so they have different things, and so they know.
Yeah, kind of like kind of like Iron Man.
Maybe
kind of like Iron Man.
With his
nanobites
suit?
Or whatever they are.
No,
with his suit, it basically just does the nanobite thing.
It basically just manifests objects. By, like, you can manifest, if we had that technology, you can manifest an actual apple. You can print an apple that would just manifest itself, and then you can physically walk over there, grab the apple with all the nutrients and stuff in that apple, and eat it. Like, there would be no hunger. Like, if we can figure out that technology, it is possible to do that. It is, but we don't know how. Maybe we know how, but they haven't released that technology yet. But if we get that technology, it will change things like crazy. Things would change. Like, you wouldn't have to. I guess we would be skinny because we wouldn't be using our muscles ever, like the aliens. They are really short and they have long arms and they're really spindly and they have no muscle. Well, maybe that's why, is because they no longer do manual labor because they don't need to, because they just print everything that they need. And like, it's crazy because once you have that technology, you can then go ahead and create another platform that creates something by just the printer, but you would need a bigger one. So like they might have a massive one, and then they can go ahead and like create another smaller device that can create stuff just by a click of a button, and it just manifests itself. And you would never ever need to build anything ever again. Like you wouldn't have to go out and mine things. You wouldn't have to go get gold. You can manifest gold. You can manifest anything in that device, and it would be actual gold. It would, because it was printed in the molecular level by the atoms and stuff. It would be a replica, and I can't wait for us to get to that level. That would be that would make it so I wouldn't have to work. That basically no one would have to work. What we would do for work is maybe go out and plant trees or do stuff or make some new fish.
But that's still physical labor.
Yeah, like can you imagine not? Could you imagine not doing any physical labor? Like you could just be like, oh yeah, I need a new car. Okay, well, boop, there's your car. Boop, it just exists. Or I need whatever. Boop, prints. There it is. It manifests itself. I mean, that technology is.
But then you have like such a lazy population that
we would.
like, dude, I have to be active though.
Well, I mean, there might be like
I would rather.
There's a lot of stuff that we need to do. Like we need to clean up the planet. So I mean, we would obviously, if we ever did get that technology, I would hope that we would declutter the planet. So like you wouldn't have to work, but I would say that if you, like, let's say want to use that device, you have to work. And so then you go ahead and just do your work that you're supposed to do and then come back. But I still think it's pretty cool that that device that just exists, just prints stuff and manifests itself. It sounds like science fiction, but they've actually proved that you can do that if we could figure out how to do it. But it is possible.
Well, in a sense, we are doing that with 3D printers. And that's like that's the 3D printer is going to be the dinosaur.
Well,
So they're starting with that slow technology. Now we're being able to 3D print certain things. Pretty soon it's going to flip over to biological.
maybe not
Just
an atom
I think
level.
so.
Oh no, you're right, but I can't wait for it to be at a molecular level, like an atom level, like 3D printing atoms together to manifest objects. But we would need to figure out, like a TV, for example, we would need to be able to scan it somehow to get the DNA of the object of the TV, and then print it. Once we figure out how to do that, then it would be you would be able to do that.
Endless.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I can't. I'm looking forward to when they can 3D print, like, technically make like a liver, a new liver, or a new kidney, a heart.
Yeah.
A
Well,
lung.
you would just have to figure out the. You would just have to figure out the DNA sequence. Not DNA sequence. You would have to map it out and figure out the atom sequence of a fully developed heart, and map it out, and then get the code from it, and then basically you can punch it in and manifest it. But if we get the stuff to manifest things just then and there, what would stop us from manifesting it into our bodies directly? Like how, because like you've heard of people that have been abducted, like they were in surgery, but they didn't have any markings and stuff. I think that's how they do it, is they do that type of technology to remove things and put things inside of you, is basically 3D print it somehow and basically make it manifest inside your body. So then surgery would be just basically like, oh, I broke my leg. Okay, hang on. Let's put you in this device and it will actually remove your bone and then basically 3D print inside your skin. It'll manifest another bone, just like your old bone, and it'll manifest it
Kind
in
of
the right
like,
spot.
did you ever watch? Did you ever watch Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Yeah, like me and my dad used
Did
to
you ever
watch.
watch that TV show?
We used to
Okay,
watch.
like the doctor. The doctor had that machine, like that little wand machine that when somebody was hurt, she would wand that over. Remember, she would wand that over the hurt part, and it would heal it.
Yeah, so maybe
Maybe
that
that's like
maybe
a
maybe that
3D printer.
maybe that yeah, exactly. Like maybe that's how they did it, is they manifested, so maybe they don't need a platform, maybe they just have a wand and you just type, like it's like Doctor Who's like little gadget thing that he has all the time, like he just boop 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 boop, like on Doctor Who. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, Doctor Who.
Makes us, yeah, I have.
Yeah,
And it makes me wonder about a lot of different things.
but
Seriously,
yeah,
makes me wonder, yeah, how many things are actually true that we don't believe are true that are actually true.
true. Yep. Yep, that's part of the
Right?
deception. So, because the people that are running the world don't want us to figure this kind of information out, because they need us to work, and they want to reap
Yeah,
all the
we're the worker
rewards.
bees.
Yeah, we're the worker bees. Well, damn it, we're not the
We're-
worker bees anymore. We're freaking waking up. So I believe we shouldn't be the worker bees anymore, and they should, if they have this type of technology, they should unveil it to the world and help a lot of people out.
Yeah, most definitely, I believe. I mean, you know my stance on the world. I think everybody just needs to get along. And just needs to just share and be peaceful and get along.
No, they need to
It's
change
not
their
that hard.
mindset. Instead of hatred, they need to not hate, and they need to feel love and treat everyone like you would your own brother and sister. That's what I started to do, and it changed my life. Like, I look at everyone as my own brother and
You
sister. It
know,
sounds weird, but it helped
I
me.
want to treat I me for myself. I want to treat people how I want to be treated. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna treat me good, then in return I'm gonna treat you good. You know, I do believe an eye for an eye. I also believe in that. It's like you do
Yeah, well,
something so horrible,
yeah, but if you think that
then
way,
you should get
though,
that.
then you're still gonna do like, oh well, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you. We need to get rid of that mindset, though. Like, oh, you hurt me, I hurt you, because
Well,
that's eye for an eye.
okay. So this is the mindset that I'm talking about. Okay,
Okay.
is that, say you hurt a child, you you do unspeakable things to this child, and then you murder them.
All right. Well, if he
I
murders them,
honestly
then
think you need to die.
I
I think you need to die.
no, I don't know. We need to figure out why he did that, and why he, and try to fix that from happening again.
It's pure evil. It's
It
pure evil.
it
Is
is
what it
like,
is.
for
It's just
someone to
pure
go
evil.
ahead and just go out there and start mass murdering people is pretty evil, and to even
And
think about
there's
murdering somebody is pretty evil.
that's what I'm saying. Is that, you know, there is pure evil out there, and there's no fixing pure evil. There is just not.
Oh, those
If
people.
somebody can be
Well, then those people we can just send to another island and let them deal with it.
exactly, that's
Okay.
how it should be.
Exactly. That I agree. We send them to another island, give them all the technologies that we have, and if they destroy it, then that's their fault.
Yeah.
And if
Do
they,
unto others as they do to themselves.
yeah, do unto others as you would like done unto you. And there's some things
Exactly.
that I don't like to be done to me, but you also got to worry about mental health too as well. That's a big problem too as well. I have a lot of mental problems, and I think
Okay, but when you're out there just murdering for fun, or because you can, or you think you can, then there is something that is totally wrong with you that is not going to be ever to be fixed.
And that's where we just euthanize them.
That exactly. That is called they need to meet the maker.
Yep.
And that's called eye to eye. That mean you do that horrible thing, then you deserve the punishment that is awaiting you. But if you're a good person and you're not doing those things, then you should live a pretty decent life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, karma though will come around, and I believe karma will actually, if you're doing those evil things, you're always like your reality is going to be uh, pretty messed up, anyways. If you want your reality to change, all you got to do is start thinking positive, and eventually it will start changing. But you always have to get rid of those negative thoughts, those bad thoughts in your mind. Get rid of those thoughts, and once you start doing that, once you learn how to do that, you'll start manifesting into your life good. But if you start manifesting in your mind evil thoughts, and everyone knows what evil thoughts are, if you start thinking evil thoughts, then you'll start manifesting that into your own reality, and it'll screw you up, and you'll eventually get killed or die a lot quicker than if you were to just live your life and be nice to kind to others. That's just my personal opinion. So,
Yes.
but I will tell you
Yeah,
this:
you treat people how you want to be treated.
I will tell you this though: we do have the ability to manifest good things in our reality, and in our reality. Like we do have, they've proven it scientifically that is possible. By shining
Yes,
a
with a
laser.
positive attitude
Yeah, by shining a
and
laser beam.
releasing the negative.
Basically, our consciousness creates reality, and they've proven that scientifically by shining a laser, and the laser was actually going into dots onto a back of a glass or something, and it was an experiment, and the experiment was when anyone would observe that laser going through that glass, it would just be dots, dot 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 dot. But the minute that person stopped looking at it, or anyone, our devices would actually register that wasn't the case. It would actually go through as waves. But the minute somebody would consciously look at the device, it would go back to dots. And so they were puzzled. And then they came to the conclusion that we actually, our consciousness actually, like that laser beam knows, like it knows for however it knows that I'm looking at that. And so it goes back to dot, 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 dot. But when I'm not looking at it, it goes back to waves. And that's the scientific proof that we create our own reality, is because of the dot, 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 and the waves. Interesting, huh?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. All right. So back to aliens and stuff. Let's
Yeah.
let's
Yeah, we veered off totally.
It's okay. It's all right. It was good information, I believe. So hopefully people find it interesting. So
It's a discussion. You don't know where it's going to go.
No. I could have stopped the discussion, but I actually wanted people to hear me out because one true fact is this is just me personally. I cannot lie. I mean, I can lie, but I don't like that feeling that you get when you lie. There's a certain type of feeling, that negative feeling. I don't like the way that makes me feel, but I do love the feeling when I tell the truth. And so I get a natural high when I tell the truth, what I believe to be the truth. I get a natural high, and so I'll say that.
You know, Joe, actually, I will say this. I've known you for years, and that's absolutely the truth. You do not lie.
I mean, I'll lie.
And it's really hard for you to keep a secret.
Yes, that is true. But I will lie, but 2 or 3 days later, it builds up, and I eventually just give in and tell you what actually happened, because I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like, but yeah, you're
Exactly. See, so I mean, there's those little white lies like, do I look fat in this dress? Oh no, dear.
right.
Yeah, but
But me, I would be
go.
like, don't ever say that to me, because I'd be like, if you look fat, I'm gonna tell you, hey, yeah, you look fat, but I believe you still look beautiful. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just how I am.
That's true with you, Joe. That is very true with
Yeah.
you. I
So
do know this.
yeah,
I do know this about you.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm just a really blunt person. You know that. If people don't like what I say, I don't really care.
yeah.
and
That's what
and
started with
like,
me too. I actually started speaking my mind and I stopped caring, but that's what got me into trouble is
and
because
then
I
the
stopped
truth
caring.
just comes out though. The truth just comes out. If you just do that and be blunt, the truth it's just the truth. That if you're
What you
I'm gonna
believe,
tell
what you
you the
believe
truth.
to be
Da,
the
da, da,
truth,
da.
though. What you believe to be the truth. It may
Yeah.
not actually be true, but you believe it to be true, so it's true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like I said, there's two sides to every story. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. Right?
right. All right, let's finish watching some more of this this TV. Man, we've only gotten 9 minutes, and we've been live streaming for like an hour, I think. Let me see. Does it say how many hours? Yeah, we've been streaming for about an hour exactly. Look at that. So 1 hour and 2 minutes. This is awesome. So 10
Sweet.
minutes. So we will be done with this video at this rate. This video is 50 minutes long, so we will be done in 5 hours. Holy crap. What time is it right now?
Yeah, we're not gonna be we're not gonna be out that long. We need to like
Oh.
speed up our discussion.
No. If what time do you usually go to bed? Because it's only 8
Miss
o'clock.
Chri- Yeah, so Miss Krista still goes to bed early and still wakes up early
So what time do you go to bed?
because I'm usually in bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
All right, so let's go
Sometimes
ahead.
10:30 when I want to stay up and watch
All
them.
right, so we'll go ahead and keep going a little longer, and we'll not pause it as much, and we'll watch what this guy has to say.
As I will explain later. The Secrets of Area 51. Area 51, the center of practically all alien conspiracies. With near constant rumors of extraterrestrial research taking place at this secret military development and testing base, you have to wonder if there's any truth to them all. If you ask Bob Lazar, then the answer is a big fat yes. See, Bob claimed to have been hired to work at Area 51 in the late 80s for an astonishing reason: to reverse engineer alien spacecraft. Lazar claimed all the way back in 1997 that the captured craft he was reverse engineering ran on an antimatter reactor, which was powered by a stable form of element 115, which wouldn't be officially created by our Earth scientists until 2003, and we can still barely stabilize it. Lazar said the reactor he studied was topped by a sphere the size of a basketball, which emitted a force field capable of repulsing human flesh.
Oh, well, there we go.
Attention retirees. If you're willing to be at
retirees.
your computer from 9 a.m. to 10.
Wow, attention.
So see right there, we were talking about
Yeah, we were talking about
reverse engineering,
but we were talking about
and it
reverse
stated it
engineering.
right there.
Yeah, and then they were talking about a force field. I said that enable for that if it was our object, it would have to have a force field. If that's correct, and they were able to back engineer that, then yes, we do have that technology to repel human flesh, and would then make it so you would be able to do those crazy maneuvers and stuff. So yeah, we just answered our questions
Yeah,
ourselves.
but we can't. They haven't been able to stabilize it. Is the problem? They can't figure out how to stabilize it. Is what they said.
But that was back in 1980, though.
Craft was
Yeah,
split into
so-
two main levels. The reactor was positioned at the center of the upper level with an antenna extending to the top, surrounded by 3 gravity amplifiers. He said these functioned as a sort of guide for the gravity wave that forms into a heart shape around the entire craft, narrowing at the bottom. These connected to gravity emitters on the lower level, which can rotate 180 degrees to output an anti-gravity wave, and that the craft would then travel belly first into this distortion field. Basically, according to Bob, flying saucers fly sideways rather than upright, with opposable engines allowing the craft to move in any direction. Not only that, Bob also claimed he read briefing documents describing the historical involvement of Earth for the past 10,000 years with extraterrestrial beings, described as the typical gray aliens that were about child size, of which he had seen cadavers of similar size. To this day, all organizations where Bob claims he worked or studied vehemently denies he was ever there. Yet George Knapp, an American journalist who investigated Bob's claims, said that Bob displayed a knowledge of the facility that would only be acquired by someone who'd been there. Of course, some claim it's all part of a cover-up. Many even suggest he is a somewhat inexperienced techie, yet the guy built a jet car for fun and has been featured in multiple newspapers for his creations, so he's clearly a distinguished engineer. Bob even claimed they used a specific biometric hand scanner
that they actually
which
found.
measured the length of bones in your hand to authorize access to the base.
And then
That the government denied this at first,
We have
but
those
decades
hand
later,
scatters
here we
the
go,
Department
right
of
here.
Defense admitted they did in fact use it at Area 51 in the 80s for the stealth fighter program. And Bob confirmed the one they declassified matched what he had used. At any time, either of those organizations could have simply said that, yes, Bob Lazar worked for them, and they deeply regret to hear of his degenerate mental state or something like that. But no, they still insist they don't know who he is despite all that. Why? It's not to say we know he is telling the complete truth, but there's too many shadowy coincidences here for anyone to be comfortably skeptic. So are there any truth to Bob's claims? Well, he's maintained the same story for over 30 years at this point, and passed lie detector tests on the subject. So, maybe? It's worth noting that the guy has been convicted several times of crimes since his testimony, which his critics have used to discredit his story. But who knows? Was Bob telling the truth? Well, some of the sightings coming up might make you think he's telling the truth. Remember I told you that Tic Tac video wasn't an isolated incident? A similar encounter was filmed on the southeastern coast of America in early 2015. Those who recorded it have yet to come forward, but some crewmates and fellow pilots have provided some of the backstory, and it goes like this. Roughly 10 years after the initial Tic Tac sightings in the summer of 2004, a naval strike group led by the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt led training exercises somewhere off the coast of Virginia. The encounter was strikingly similar to the previous one explained. Anomalous radar tracks were spotted and initially dismissed. Gravity-defying hypersonic objects were being detected defying the laws of physics. After double-checking all their equipment, they were certain what they were seeing had to be real. Early interceptions were initially unsuccessful, until one day, two jets no more than a few tens of meters apart narrowly avoided a mid-air collision when something flew right in between them. Although the pilots themselves haven't come forward, fellow F-18 pilot Lieutenant Ryan Graves spoke to one of the pilots who landed and said the experience had visually spooked him. Here's what he had to say about the encounter at the UAP congressional hearing.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72,
All right, guys, just a little reminder, they can't lie because it's in court. So here we go.
10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, two F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base. Our squadron submitted a safety report, but there was no official acknowledgement of the incident and no further mechanism to report the sightings. Soon, these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight briefs.
This time, the craft was described as a cube encased by a translucent sphere. Obviously, both pilots must have been incredibly startled, so it's hard to figure out exactly what they saw in such a short space of time. But I've created a few images of the craft for entertainment purposes, and I've added a little extra aliens for fun. They didn't mention seeing them, but I like to think they were there. Anyway, Lieutenant Ryan Graves said this wasn't an isolated incident, and that similar things had been seen by dozens of pilots for several months, and that the object spotted could remain airborne for up to 12 hours at a time. A few months later, in 2015, when the USS Theodore Roosevelt had made its way over by the coast of Florida, during a separate incident, pilots captured another clip that shocked everyone involved.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's look at that thing. It's rotating.
The interesting thing about this clip is that the craft captured seemed to rotate and fly in a fashion somewhat similar to that described by Bob Lazar on its side. The craft even has a heart-like shape, which resembles how Lazar claimed the crafts he reverse-engineered warped gravity around them.
Oh.
However, some debunkers claim the rotation seen in the video is an optical illusion caused by the derotation mechanism of the camera. That said, the two pilots themselves failed to recognize it as an image rotation. Surely, if anyone could spot image rotation, they would be the ones who would know what it looks like. Both pilots believe the craft actually rotated. Even Jeremy Corbell, an electro-optical engineer and expert in the ATF LIRE camera system, explained it's not an optical illusion. Besides, if it were an optical illusion, that doesn't explain what the pilots remarked about in the following clip.
If you have an hour this week, you can learn 100 songs on the piano by learning.
Again.
Yeah, right?
Dude, that is very interesting.
Yeah, how it even turns.
The wind's 120 knots from the west.
It seems nothing yet has explained how a whole fleet could travel cross-wind at that speed. With all that said, it's interesting to hear about the man responsible for making these videos public, Luis Elizondo. He was the head of a secret government-funded effort to investigate UFO sightings known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. In late 2017, he became so disillusioned with the government's efforts that he decided to resign. He claimed that certain individuals within the government are staunchly opposed to UFO research, and that the government is unconcerned about something that could affect national security. Indeed, many military personnel claim these sightings are common but underreported, as individuals fear for their career should they speak out and risk looking like a tinfoil hat wearer at the expense of another promotion. Certainly, there is a stigma around the UFO topic, which is precisely the reason the government now uses UAP instead of UFO to avoid the unwanted association with aliens, spaceships, and probing human backsides. Lieutenant Ryan Graves summarizes perfectly the sentiment around UFO sightings among the U.S. government during his speech to Congress.
My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I'm a former F-18 pilot with a decade of service in the U.S. Navy, including 2 deployments in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Inherent Resolve. I have experienced advanced UAP firsthand, and I'm here to voice the concerns of more than 30 commercial aircrew and military veterans who have confided their similar encounters with me. Today, I would like to highlight 3 critical issues that demand our action. As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena. The stigma attached to UAP is real and powerful and challenges national security. It silences commercial pilots who fear professional repercussions, discourages witnesses, and is only compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden. Since 2021, all UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mistrust.
In fact, In 2021, the U.S. Office of
agree,
the Director
yeah.
of National Intelligence released a preliminary
Oh,
report on
definitely.
UAPs, and the official findings will chill you to the core. The report looked back on evidence gathered in the last 20 years from U.S. Navy reports and concluded that they basically had no idea what UAPs were. The UAPs could break the sound barrier without producing a sonic boom, move with no discernible means of propulsion, and travel with such speed and maneuverability that would typically destroy any craft. The report accepted that UAP recordings were most likely physical objects, and they are a possible safety issue that could pose a security threat. Ultimately, these individuals are some of the most reliable witnesses you could hope for, and their stories match up. They were joined with one other whistleblower at the congressional hearing, whose story is perhaps even more disturbing. This is former intelligence official David Grush, who dropped some bombshells. Not only did he claim that the U.S. government has had contact with alien species, but also that they've recovered downed spacecraft and the remains of non-human pilots. To make matters even crazier, Grush also claimed that the U.S. has come across actively malevolent alien races, which means we could be in some serious danger. Yikes. But if all this really is true, why the heck haven't we heard about it until now? Well, as you'd probably guessed, Grush blamed the government for orchestrating an elaborate cover-up. Not content with simply pulling the wool over our eyes, he asserted that U.S. agents have actively targeted and came for people who threatened to reveal these secrets in the past. Oh man. So, if Grush ever goes missing, I think we all know where fingers will be pointed. Of course, the U.S. government responded exactly how you'd expect them to, by denying everything. In July of 2023, during the congressional hearing mentioned
The Men
already,
in Black.
while under oath,
Yep.
he reiterated that there was a massive cover-up going on, and that the U.S. government had indeed recovered non-human remains.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And even specified further on his claims of alien races posing a threat.
So, at one point you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured, and the activity. And I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
Both.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Grush couldn't answer a lot of questions publicly for legal reasons, but did mention he was willing to speak with congressmen privately and reveal more information. Who knows what secrets he has to share? What do you think? Is this the most credible evidence of alien life yet, or just another chancer seeking their 15 minutes of fame? Let me know down in the comments. Now, before I move on, there is one part of Mr. Grush's testimony which is particularly striking. Let's give it a listen.
At the time, due to my extensive executive-level intelligence support duties, I was cleared to literally all relevant compartments and in a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
If true, this would support the statements made by Bob Lazar, as well as the other whistleblowers at the hearing, along with thousands of various incidents recorded over the decades. Now, let's delve into some of the most credible sightings that often go overlooked. Foo Fighters. November 1944. A U.S. fighter plane tore through the night skies above the Rhine Valley on the French-German border. In the gloom, one lieutenant noticed a string of ominous glowing lights off in the distance. Believing them to be German air weapons, they turned to fight. But the lights suddenly disappeared.
Warning, don't believe the AI trading hype until you watch.
Okay, so again, They were in a Senate meeting, and you cannot lie in that hearing. And
You're not supposed to. If you do,
what
if they find out that you were lying, you get arrested.
it's perjury.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perjury. And you go to federal prison for I'm not even sure how long, but I know it's a lengthy stay. Unless you're a celebrity, of course. Like Martha Stewart. Then they get the slap of the wrist. But I mean, people need to wake up and realize the guy just said that there's some species, again, different species out there, and they're threats. There's some that are threats. And that's what he was saying.
Yeah. Yep. But I think there's a lot more good ETs or interdimensional beings than there are evil intention in interdimensional beings or ETs. So that's a good thing we got going for us, is that there may be an intergalactical alliance, and hopefully we're on it.
Yeah, kind of like the Men in Black.
Or
like the
like
movie with,
the
you know,
Justice League, or that one video, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, exactly. So all right, let's go ahead and listen in to see what else they have to say.
Ominous glowing lights off in the distance. Believing them to be German air weapons, they turned to fight. But the lights suddenly disappeared. And this was only the beginning of a long list of unexplainable sightings. Other wartime pilots reported strange luminous orbs, flashing lights, and even an unknown object flying close beside them. They came to call these mysterious objects Foo Fighters, after a line from a popular comic book at the time called Smokey Stover. And yeah, there's also a band with the same name, but I don't think Dave Grohl was hanging around in the 1940s. So what were those Foo Fighters? Well, some believe the soldiers didn't see anything at all and were actually suffering from combat fatigue. In other words, the stress and trauma of the war had affected them so much they'd started hallucinating. But people that knew them said they seemed very level-headed. Others put forward the idea that the Foo Fighters were actually experimental enemy craft. But wouldn't we know by now if that was the...
So do you remember me telling you about how like they may be like telling people like, oh, well, you just have paranoid schizophrenia or this or that, like they just diagnose people so that they can discredit them. Like that's maybe one thing that our US government is doing, actually actively doing right now, and I think that's horrible.
Answer? Indeed, many people think they really were alien visitors, come to observe and learn about human aircraft. If that's the case, though, why don't we see UFOs following us whenever we go on vacation? Well, think about it. The Second World War was the most destructive conflict in human history. Maybe extraterrestrials heard all the commotion from a galaxy far away and came to find out what the fuss was about. Then, after seeing how stupid we can be, they noped out again and sightings dried up. Can't say I really blame them. Don't worry though, just like and subscribe to Be Amazed for all the knowledge injections you need to impress the aliens when they next come back around. All sorted? Wicked. Let's get back to it. Recess to remember. Kids aren't exactly the most reliable sources. I mean, they say a lot of stupid stuff. But what about when a whole class of kids has the same exact story? And what if all of them insist the story is the truth for nearly 30 years afterwards? Okay, now you have my interest. Back in 1994, a bunch of children attending aerial school outside Rua, Zimbabwe, had the most eventful day imaginable. And no, it wasn't Pizza Friday. During their morning recess, no less than 62 students saw a strange disc-like craft land near the schoolyard. Curious, many of them walked over to investigate. Suddenly, the craft's doors opened and a humanoid creatures clad in black stepped out before the now terrified children. Then the beings slowly approached. But it seems they came in peace. Rather than attacking, they, wait for it, telepathically beamed messages about the importance of environmentalism into the children's minds before abruptly leaving. Right. While not all students saw the craft that fateful day, many of the kids that did have been adamant about the events that took place ever since. Looking at it from a skeptical mind, it's possible the whole thing was just a case of mass hysteria. That's when a group of people suffer a collective delusion. We aren't entirely sure why this happens, but anxiety is thought to be one of the causes. Just 2 days prior to the incident, there'd been several UFO sightings across southern Africa. This created an atmosphere of anxiety that could have become hysteria, which the kids manifested in an extraterrestrial encounter of their own. I'm not convinced. Some of them even drew pictures, and they have startling similarities between them. And would children really think to work environmentalism into their story?
That is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because we are becoming
manifested
very
in
environmental
Yeah.
conscious.
Yeah.
An extraterrestrial encounter of their own. I'm not convinced. Some of them even drew pictures, and they have startling similarities between them. And would children really think to work environmentalism into their story? I'm not saying this is aliens, but there's definitely something more than hysteria at play here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. The Belgian UFO Wave. In Belgium, 1989, a string of UFO sightings took place that would mark the beginning of a tremendous wave of encounters that shocked the world. On a fateful November night, over 30 different groups of people recorded seeing something odd in the skies above them. A strange triangular object with 3 distinct glowing lights beneath it. Spooky, right? Well, for the next 5 or so months, over 2,000 more sightings were reported across the country. Jeez, that's a lot of alien boys. The Belgian government actually got fed up with hearing these reports and, assuming the U.S. were testing some aircraft nearby, got in touch with them to find out. But the Americans told them no such tests were taking place. With little going on, the Belgian government saw only one way to get to the bottom of the situation: getting up close and personal with one of the supposed craft. So, when reports of a sighting came in one March night, jets were scrambled and sent to meet with the enigmatic visitor. Frustratingly, the fighter pilots couldn't see the object itself, but they did just about catch it on radar. The radar blip started moving erratically and jumping great distances before accelerating way beyond a man-made craft's capability and just vanishing. After that, encounters quietly died down. While the Belgian government were quick to dismiss the whole affair, they couldn't provide any compelling alternative explanations. It's possible the sheer gravitas of the initial sightings inspired paranoia among citizens, making them more susceptible to the idea of seeing triangular shapes in the sky. But that doesn't explain the mysterious radar blip. I think the answer is obvious. These were aliens, just dropping by for that sweet Belgian chocolate. Skinny Bob. Most phony alien encounters involve off-puttingly grainy photos of faraway spaceships. That's because it'd take a whole lot of cash, time, and skill to convincingly fake an alien up close. Which is exactly what makes Skinny Bob such an enigma. No, it's not the name of my estranged nephew. It's an alleged alien. Let me explain. In 2011, a Reddit user named Ivan posted a startling video clip to the website, claiming it was recorded by the KGB. This is Skinny Bob. Crikey. I don't know about you, but I'm seriously creeped out. What exactly are we looking at? Is this real? It certainly looks it, right? According to Ivan, the alien was on a diplomatic mission from the Zeta Reticuli star system. and had been sent to discuss matters of mutual concern. What exactly those matters were wasn't disclosed, but supposedly what you're seeing is an excerpt from an interview with the being. Visual effects expert Randy Sharp, who worked on the likes of I Am
Hey, is
Legend
it
and
cutting out
Watchmen,
for you?
looked at the footage and gave some
No.
startling testimony. According to him, if it was a fake, it would have truly tested the tech available in 2011 and took somebody with a crazy level of skill and knowledge to pull it off. On top of that, it would have cost an arm and a leg, somewhere in the ballpark of $250,000. So, given that nobody has ever claimed ownership of the video or tried to profit from it, such an expensive prank seems illogical. Is it real then? Who knows? I guess we should keep an eye out for Skinny Bob appearing in any more movies. Though, it has been over a decade, so maybe he's more of a Fat Bob these days. The Phoenix Lights. Okay, so far we've covered some
That is
very
very
widely
interesting.
observed
Did that look
UFO
fake
sightings,
to you?
but nothing can match the sheer
No,
number of people.
I still remember actually stumbling across this video when it came out, and I was like, oh my god, this is like proof. Like, I was telling everyone about it, like, this is proof. Like, and this is one of the videos that actually sparked my interest into actually believing that extraterrestrials exist or interdimensional beings exist. And one thing I noticed about the video is the eyes, and this was back in the 40s. It's really hard back then for them to manipulate the eyes for it to be so fluid like it was in that old video clip that we just all saw. So
Yeah, but that's so true.
yeah. Let's see what else said that.
Yeah, that's the first time for me actually seeing that clip of Skinny Bob.
Oh, that was the first time. So what did
I'm
you
gonna
think? What did you think about it?
Well, if it was filmed in what, 40 years ago?
No, in the 1940s.
Is what you said, or
1940s it was
in the
filmed.
1940s? Then that is definitely real.
Exactly.
That's real.
Yeah, back then they didn't have the type of technology that we have now to fake things like that. And I'm talking about the eye movements. We can actually physically go back to Bob, the movie again. Let's watch it again with no audio, and then I'll kind of narrate as you guys watch the video. Look at the eyes of the video clip. So here we go. He's saying it would cost $250,000, but see, Oh, it doesn't say the year, but I always thought it was in the 40s. But you can actually see the eyes. See the eyes? That is this is way back when. It's really hard to do that. It wasn't possible to do that back then.
The Phoenix
Well,
Lights.
look at watching the like old Star Wars movies, the first ones, and Jabba the Hutt. You can tell it's so fake.
In 2011.
You can tell that
and
that's
took somebody
total.
with a
I mean,
crazy
it's
level.
kind of funny when you look at it now.
Yeah, but this one, it's an actual black and white video that was recorded on an older device, and the eyes, like that, like I can't get enough of the eyes. Like that was my.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't manipulate that, especially back then, when he claimed it was. So, but the eye movements, and I didn't know that it was actual interview.
It's too fluid.
Yeah, well, I didn't know
Yeah,
this.
it's too
I didn't know the
fluid.
backstory to the video, but he went ahead and explained it that it came from the Soviet Union, and why the heck is the Soviet Union going to go ahead and lie about something like this?
I think I don't think they lie about aliens at the Soviet Union. I think it's well known throughout.
Yeah,
I know that there's some countries that just don't lie about it and accept it.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, the America lies about it, and I hate that. I hate that about my country. I hate that. I hate how they lie, cheat, and silence people by killing them. That's horrible. National security, my ass.
Yes.
It shouldn't happen. Oh, Can you imagine, like, if we just accepted it and be like, oh yeah, they're extraterrestrials and some are good, some are bad, but there are some here that are trying to help us, like how our realities would change. And I want that reality to happen. And
Oh,
so
most definitely and it possibly could be for the good.
it would be for the good. And
The thing
unless
is that if they're correct and they've been here for 10,000 years and they've let us thrive, so I would say
they're
it's
not
more
here to
for the
kill us.
good.
Yeah, they're not here to kill us. They're just trying
Yeah.
to raise our vibration, guys. Our consciousness. They're trying to raise our vibrations to be higher than it was before. We were at a lower vibration. We're eventually getting higher and higher, and people now are really high up in the vibration field, and that's what they're trying to, I would assume, what they're trying to go for. And it's working, but it's just taking a long time, and it's taking too long in my book. Like,
Evolution.
yeah.
Each generation gets smarter and smarter.
Yep. All right, here we go.
At Bob these days. The Phoenix Lights. Okay, so far we've covered some very widely observed UFO sightings, but nothing can match the sheer number of people that reported seeing what became known as the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights were two events that happened on the evening of March 13th, 1997, in the skies above Nevada and Arizona. The first event started at around 7:30 p.m., when a witness in Henderson, Nevada, reported seeing an array of glowing orbs in the sky. From there, they slowly made their way across state lines to Phoenix, Arizona, a near 300-mile journey that was seen by thousands upon thousands of people, including actor Kurt Russell. The lights made the shape of a V, with some observers claiming they could faintly see the craft itself through the clouds. Then they passed over the city and disappeared without a trace. What? And it gets weirder. At around 10 p.m., loads of people in Phoenix also reported seeing a separate row of bright lights hovering in the sky. According to the author and renowned UFO skeptic, Robert Schaefer, these lights actually originated from two separate U.S. Air Force training exercises with A-10 jets. One exercise consisted of the planes flying in a triangle formation and another of them firing flares. What a buzzkill. But it makes sense. Case closed, right? Wrong. In 2007, former Arizona governor and witness John Fife Symington III came out to speak on the lights. As a pilot, he claimed to know every aircraft imaginable, and whatever he saw that night was not something he recognized. Not content with just discrediting the official explanation, he also expressed his support for the government to investigate further. To this day, however, we still don't have a solid answer. So I guess for now, the whole thing is very much up in the air. Sorry. Oumuamua. Don't you just hate uninvited guests? Well, back in 2017, our solar system got one of the most mysterious uninvited guests imaginable. A mysterious red object somewhere between 300 and 3,000 feet long was observed moving past the sun. The visitor was dubbed Oumuamua by scientists, a Hawaiian word meaning a messenger from afar arriving first. Fitting, because it certainly came from afar, and it was the first object of its kind we've ever seen.
Excuse me.
Naturally, then, its sudden appearance was very exciting for astronomers, but it was also unnerving. Just what was this thing? Well, it was cigar-shaped and traveled at astounding speeds of up to 55 miles a second, a whopping 20 miles per second faster than the average speed of a comet. But unlike comets, it had no visible tail of space dust behind it. The strange object raced through our solar system for 11 days, then left again, never to return. Curiouser and curiouser. As you might have guessed, many were quick to cry alien, and understandably so. It seemed to defy all explanation. Said, people have tried to explain it. Some believe Oumuamua was a block of solid hydrogen, while others are sure it was a comet after all, just one with strange, mysterious properties. Scientists say it was a bit of both, a comet filled with hydrogen ice. Remember how much faster it was than ordinary comets? Well, the clever clogs at NASA reckon that when it passed by our sun, the heat released the comet's hydrogen, causing the burst of extra speed. They also say there was no tail because hydrogen doesn't have the momentum to pull space dust behind it. But what do you think? Was Oumuamua really just a big old space rock? Or is all that just smoke and mirrors? I mean, if an alien spaceship did come to our solar system to monitor us, wouldn't our governments want to cover it up to stop mass panic? I'd love to hear your theories in the comments below. Crystal clear. Let's be real. UFO photos almost always look like they've been taken using a toaster. They're either super blurry or don't resemble UFOs at all. With that in mind, I'd like to present you with something absolutely incredible. A UFO photo that actually looks like it was taken using a functioning camera. Whoa! All jokes aside, this is the Calvine photo, widely known as the clearest UFO snap ever taken. Captured in Scotland by two young chefs in 1990, the incredible image shows a strange diamond-shaped object flying in front of a conventional plane. The two chefs sent it to a newspaper, but instead of publishing it, the paper passed the image to the British Ministry of Defense, where it promptly disappeared for 30 long years. Then, in 2020, British academic journalist David Clarke finally tracked it down. After first hearing about the story in 2009, but without the photographic evidence itself, it had captivated him ever since. Eventually, he tracked down a former Royal Air Force officer who'd held on to a print of it. Apparently, the retired officer had been waiting for someone to call him about it for years, so was more than willing to share the pic.
Wow.
And unlike a lot of other UFO sightings, this one can't be easily debunked. Andrew Robinson, senior photography lecturer at Sheffield Hallam University, analyzed the photo and concluded that whatever the object is, it's definitely there in front of the camera. So there's no editing trickery going on. The RAF officer that held onto it also said that when the photo was sent in, the witnesses claimed the craft made no noise whatsoever. Weird. Who the witnesses actually are, though, we don't know. Though the names of the original photos should have been released in 2021, British authorities have refused to do so until 2076, citing privacy concerns.
Oh, wow.
Suspicious much? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. The Battle of L.A. You remember the Foo Fighters I told you about earlier? You know, those strange lights that followed pilots around during the Second World War. Well, that wasn't the only time aliens allegedly came down to investigate us in wartime. Oh no. There was the Battle of Los Angeles. Shortly after joining the war, the USA was still reeling from the Japanese attack on their naval base at Pearl Harbor. The country was on high alert, preparing for the possibility of another strike on U.S. soil. So, when air raid sirens sounded in L.A. County one February night in 1942, troops ran desperately to the anti-aircraft guns and started firing. Soon the sky was filled with smoke, shrapnel, and fire in a defensive barrage that lasted over an hour. Then, silence. But as the sun rose, soldiers realized something very peculiar. There seemed to have been no enemy at all. Absolutely nothing had been shot down. So what happened? Well, some witnesses claimed to have seen a single balloon-like craft in the sky that night, something ufologists are adamant is evidence of extraterrestrial activity.
Excuse me.
A now iconic photo showing countless searchlights focusing on an unknown object served as fuel for the fire. Could there be something alien amidst all the bright lights? Well, possibly. But it turns out the original image was heavily edited prior to being published in newspapers, so it would be clearer to see in black and white print. What's more, the U.S. Air Force concluded that a series of meteorological air balloons were released over Los Angeles at the time, which probably started the scare. So no aliens this time, although there's always a chance it was a cover-up. The Turkish UFO incident. Many UFO sightings are highly publicized cases that have inspired heated debate over the years. Then you have far lesser known ones, like the Turkish UFO incident. Between 2007 and 2009, 12 different witnesses came forward claiming they'd seen a strange metallic craft in the skies off the coast of northwest Turkey. But we don't have to take their word for it. Plenty of them filmed it. It's shaky as hell, yes, but if we zoom in really close on a separate sighting of the thing, oh, you can definitely see two figures moving around inside. Authorities were quick to try to dismiss the sightings as some kind of elaborate hoax, but that proved very hard to do. Indeed, after some of the shocking footage was received by two separate state-sponsored boards, they came up with nothing. Nada. In fact, they were forced to conclude that it was genuine. Now, that's not to say that they believed it was aliens, but they did conclude that the clip wasn't edited, and that the vehicle didn't conform to any known human craft. Holy cow. Honestly, I'm shocked that this one hasn't had more exposure. You can practically see the two pilots inside arguing about whether they should ask for directions. Ant abducted. It was an unassuming night in October of 1957. In an effort to avoid the hot daytime sun, 23-year-old Brazilian Antonio Villas-Boas had decided to work in the fields of his farm in the evening. Suddenly, he was distracted from his labor by an ominous red star appearing in the dark sky. It grew bigger and bigger until, he realized it was headed right for him. Antonio watched in horror as the star revealed itself to be some kind of alien spaceship preparing to land. Then he noped right out of there, or at least he tried to. His tractor wouldn't start, so he was forced to flee on foot through the fields. But something was chasing him. And whatever it was too fast. Antonio yelped as he was tackled by several humanoid creatures who subdued him and dragged him onto the ship. While aboard, he was stripped naked and covered in a strange gel. Then the creatures took a blood sample from his chin and left him alone in a locked room filled with noxious gas, which made him feel seriously ill. As he sat there, naked, gooey, and sick on an alien spacecraft, he probably thought this night couldn't get any weirder. He was wrong. Suddenly, a nude female alien entered the room and, seduced him. Yep. One thing led to another, and Antonio wound up doing the nasty with the alien babe.
If you don't want to open your third eye, then don't watch this video. This method isn't for everyone. If have an open eye sounds interesting, then you are really going to like this.
And then it goes into a commercial, right?
Is so powerful at activating the pineal third eye that a few elite individuals have kept it under wraps for centuries. But now the information is out, and people across the world are using it to manifest everything they desire in a very short amount of time. Did you know that every night, in the quiet hours between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m., something extraordinary happens within you? The pineal center in your brain, often referred to as the mystical third eye, awakens to its full potential, releasing crucial hormones for your well-being and internal healing. If you want to discover the real truth about your being and how you're truly connected to the universe through your pineal core, plus how to start experiencing psychic abilities, clairvoyance, or manifest wealth fast, then all you need to do is try this 30-second method
tell you create
by
your
clicking
own
the button on
reality.
your screen. Can this previously unknown 30-second method unlock the God within you? What if the barriers between the physical and the spiritual realms were merely an illusion? What if there was a bridge within us, linking us to both realms seamlessly?
Oh man, this is interesting.
See?
I want to click it.
A leaked neuroscience experiment revealed that a small area...
Yeah, we're not clicking it.
Oh, I
You can
clicked
click
it.
later.
I'll watch that later. Okay.
in our brain
I'm gonna
called
watch
the
it
third
later.
eye is...
All right.
Then after completing his task, he was given a quick tour of the ship before being dropped off back home. Okay, So that wasn't a fever dream I had last night. It's supposedly a true account as told by Antonio himself. I'm sure you're pretty suspicious of his story, as most were when he first came out with it, but just wait. Antonio was examined by medical professionals shortly after the alleged incident and was found to be suffering from radiation sickness. Now, I'm not saying that means his wild tale is true, but I'm having trouble figuring out how else he could have gotten radiation poisoning. Either way, our spacefaring farmer stuck to the story for the rest of his life.
I've heard other people that have been
in
abducted
1991.
suffer from it too.
Was old Antonio really a victim of alien abduction, or was it all just a ploy for attention? Now that he's gone, it seems we'll never know for sure.
Interesting.
The Baikal Enigma. Ah, Lake Baikal. This Russian body of water is the oldest and deepest lake in the world, with a colossal maximum depth of some 5,400 feet. That means 2 to-scale replicas of the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, could fit in there stacked on top of each other. Crikey. Naturally then, the lake has inspired countless legends and been the site of an awful lot of alien activity. Many people over the years have reported seeing strange lights, craft, and even mysterious figures skulking around its shoreline. In 2009, one Sergei Konitschkik and his son stepped outside to watch the sunset over the waters. To their shock, they saw 2 strange glowing orbs rise out of the lake and start floating above it. Thankfully, Sergei managed to snag a picture of these ominous lights before they vanished back under the murky depths. So, whatever they saw, it was definitely real. But sightings don't just take place around the lake, they also happen inside it. In 1982, a squad of Russian military divers reportedly encountered a group of abnormally tall humanoid creatures swimming 160 feet below the surface of Baikal. The group attempted to subdue and capture one of the strange beings, only to be forcefully ejected from the water by them. Now, if you surface too quickly while diving, you'll suffer from decompression sickness, or the bends, a potentially fatal condition caused by the rapid change in pressure.
Yeah.
Sure enough, several of the divers passed away shortly after surfacing. Jeez, those aliens don't sound too friendly. Sure, this story could have been just made up, but when combined with Sergei's photo and the countless other tales surrounding the lake, you can't help but think something must be going on over there. MIB. I'm sure you've at least heard of the Men in Black movies. Apart from that awful spin-off, they're a lot of fun. But did you know that they're based on a real-life phenomenon that's downright terrifying? See, when people report extraterrestrial activity, they sometimes get a visit from the real-life MIB. Only they don't get Will Smith knocking on their door. Creepy men clad entirely in black have supposedly tracked down witnesses and either intimidated them into silence or, in some stories, made them outright disappear. Maybe making this video wasn't such a good idea. One particularly strange story occurred in 2009 and was caught on camera. Here you can see 2 insidious interlopers in a hotel in Ontario, Canada. 2 bizarre men dressed in black wandered into the lobby. They had no eyebrows or eyelashes, seemed to be wearing wigs underneath their hats, and were identical in appearance. Then, according to witnesses, the duo began grilling the bellboy to let them see the manager, Shane Sovar. When the bellboy told them that Shane wasn't working, they didn't believe him and began rummaging around as if they owned the place. Whatever they were looking for, it seems they didn't find it. Eventually, the strangers disappeared without a trace and were never heard from again. But why were they there in the first place? Well, Shane had reported seeing a large triangular UFO above Niagara Falls the year before. He'd mostly forgotten the incident, but it seems that not everybody had. Creepy, huh? Most ufologists believe the Men in Black are government agents tasked with suppressing word on alien sightings. But what if it's more than that? No hair of any kind? Identical appearances? What if these guys are aliens themselves? Would it not be in their best interests to keep their existence under wraps so they can carry on doing, well, whatever it is they do? Oh man, I can see 2 men in black suits approaching my front door right now. I think that's enough alien evidence for one day.
Wow.
Have you ever had any extraterrestrial encounters? Let me know down in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next
What
video.
do you think
Thanks for
about all
watching.
that?
That was an awesome video. It yeah, it was freaking cool. I liked it.
Thank you to Be Amazed.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, thank you so much, Be Amazed. Don't forget to subscribe to their channel. It's just Be Amazed, guys. It looks like this. Be Amazed. Subscribe, Be Amazed on YouTube. Check them out. Well, what do you have any thoughts, Krista, before we go ahead and wrap this up?
Well, I have lots of thoughts.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts?
But I've been speaking my thoughts throughout the video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty undeniable. I mean, you can't. I mean, there's so much evidence that just everyday ordinary people are now seeing.
Best evidence
more and more
proving aliens exist. We just gave you the facts, guys. Honestly, Be Amazed did a great job on that video, and Be Amazed should definitely be very proud of that, what they created. And but yeah, also David Gush. I just want to thank David Gush for having the balls to come out and publicly admit that we have alien beings that we caught and under oath. So thanks to him, this video was made possible, because without him, we wouldn't have any evidence and a lot of other evidence. But that right there is like the majority of the icing on the cake, is when he said that. That's
and on the hearing, the Senate hearing.
Oh.
So it was him and a bunch of other
maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we can go ahead and watch it.
Break down the Senate hearing.
Let me write this down. What was, Krista, what? So the Senate hearing for David Gush?
Yeah, David Gush. If we just type in his name, we should get the Senate hearing. It should pull up the whole thing.
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna do that tomorrow, guys. So stick around, and we are not live yet, guys. This is previously recorded, but it should basically be live. This link for the Discord up here on the top left of your screen is going to be active for 7 days. So if you don't know what what it says, I'll read it to you real quick, and then we'll go ahead and end this video. It's discord.gg/ here, I'll make it huge for you guys, and I'll make it so it's not transparent anymore, so it's going to look very ridiculous, but I can't really read it very well. Okay, here we go. So it's discord.gg/ GFMMYHYT. That's Q, actually. So lowercase q, lowercase f, capital M, lowercase y, lowercase h, capital Y, capital T on Discord. And if you guys can type this in, you guys will go ahead and get to my Discord channel, and you'll be a part of this channel that we're going to create together. I need your guys' help. Eventually, I will be showing my PayPal link down at the bottom. I'm hoping for some donations on the channel to help pay for it. to keep us up and running, because if I can't afford it, it's going to go off for a couple months and come back on for a couple months and go off for a couple months. And I really don't want to do that. I want to be able to just keep it up all the time. But like I said, if I can't afford funds, I won't be able to afford to keep this channel up and running. So if you guys do enjoy my content, I will eventually later on, as you guys watch it, I will have a link down below. It'll say donations and my PayPal link, my email for PayPal. And if you guys could send some donations my way, that would be very helpful. But Krista, do you have anything to add before we go ahead and end this video?
Yes, so I would love people to come and hang out with us and have a real discussion on things that interest everyone.
Oh yeah. Like
so
what?
Yes, and join into the conversation and let's get opinions heard.
Yeah, they can by going to that Discord link right up there on the top left, guys. Discord on the top left. If download Discord on your device, your cell phone device, and look up Discord. It's free. Make an account and then go ahead and if you can't figure out how to join with that link, there'll be other means that you guys eventually. I'll actually give you guys my Google phone number, and you guys can actually call me if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, any topics that you guys want us to talk about. But that's, like I said, this is all still kind of like up in the air, so it's kind of like just brainstorming on a way for you guys to contact me so I can read your guys' opinions, and we'll do different topics and stuff if you guys want. So
yeah, so come check us out.
Yeah, it'd be great. All right, guys. Well, I freaking love you. Thank you so much for hanging out, and you guys are the best. And thank you so much. And I guess this is the end of the video. So have a good night, guys. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye. Just give me a second, Krista, okay? Don't hang up yet. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Stay tuned. There'll be more videos. We're thinking about watching some more Dragon Ball Z or maybe some Pokemon. I don't know what it's going to show up, but it'll be one of the two. Or Song of the South. Or yeah, Song of the South. So it'll be either Song of the South or some other clip. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like my channel on Roku if you guys enjoyed it. And all that stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. I'll talk to you guys all later. Good night, everyone.
All lights go out.